Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and welcome to the Cubs Baseball Channel. Hope you are doing great today and enjoying your holiday or wherever you might be hanging out. Thank you for being here. Cubs miss out on Dylan Cease. He got a monster contract with Toronto, and it tells me something that I want to get into today. Are the Cubs committed to winning the World Series? Are they all in? Or is this a sign that maybe they're not? We're going to talk about that. Some young Cubs receive MLB pre-arbitration pool money, and they deserve it. Pretty cool. And our favorite Thanksgiving memories, or maybe we'll talk a little bit about what you're most thankful for as far as the Cubs go. All of that right here on the Cubs Baseball Channel. Hit AveD, the QR code. Join Mick Nation. We've got some hats. We got some swag to give away. So let's get this thing started. Look at my shirt. Love that shirt. Love the bear. Even got the plaque in my house. I know a lot of you guys do too. All right, you guys ready? You ready for a little show? You ready for some baseball talk? Let's go. What is everybody? Welcome to the Cubs Baseball Channel. Mick Gillespie here. Great to talk to you on this Thanksgiving. Don't let me get off the show without telling you some things that I'm thankful for. Well, one thing that I'm not thankful for is Dylan Cease signing with Toronto, right? I'm disappointed about this because I felt like the Cubs were going to be in the mix for Dylan Cease. And when it all came to fruition, he ends up getting a mega deal from Toronto, right? It's the tune of 7 years, $210 million, right? Pending a physical, reported first by Jeff Passan of ESPN. He's one of the best in the business. He was with the Padres. This was a Cubs prospect that the Cubs, I think, foolishly traded to the White Sox for Jose Quintana. I never was a fan of that trade. I still am not a fan of that trade, but you know what? Maybe now, he would have been gone anyway. I don't know if they'd have paid him that, but this was the best pitching prospect that the Cubs had in their system since Pryor and Wood, but he never got to the big leagues with the Cubs. And then, now Cade Horton's that guy. I think that the next guy that came along that could have been in your organization for years to come, right? So he gets this deal. He wasn't, I don't think, his very best last year with the Padres, but he's got great velocity. The velo's there. He's also someone that you look at and you go, okay, this guy's going to be around for a long time. And he's been really healthy. And the other thing about it is that pitching's a premium. Starting pitching's a premium. Guys that can go out there and stay healthy and that are fireballers are guys who you want to have on your team. And, as I think about the Cubs now, I'm going, okay, where are the Cubs going to go? They go with his teammate Michael King. Ranger Suarez is another guy. He actually's, I think, somebody that could help the team a lot. Maybe they trade for Sandy Alcantara. We talked about that, though, here recently. If the Marlins traded Alcantara, then they'd be so far under the salary, the where the league wants you to be minimally, that they'd have to go out and spend a bunch of money. But he'd be worth it, right? Edwin Cabrera, another guy on that team, maybe you potentially trade. I don't know. One of these guys coming over from Japan, could be. I feel like the Cubs need someone else in their rotation. They got 5 right now, but you just keep building because you never know how many you're going to need. But this got me thinking, right? Like I started to say, Cubs and Blue Jays were in an identical spot coming into this past season. Front offices, hot seat, teams that had not really made a run. I don't want to say underachievers, but they weren't teams that had really done a whole lot. And the Blue Jays And the Cubs both tried to be really aggressive in the offseason. And of course, the Cubs made the deal to get Kyle Tucker. They gave up a first-round pick to do it, and some other guys, another all-star. And the Blue Jays, they went out and made deals. There was a sense of urgency here for both. And the Blue Jays ended up getting to the World Series and were ahead in the late innings. I call the business innings of Game 7 that could have won a World Series, and they blew it. But they played it was a valiant effort. And now, you look at it and you go, they're all in, right? They're going to do what they have to do to get that next game, right? It was kind of like I look at them and think they could potentially be the Kansas City Royals. Remember, the Royals lost that dramatic Game 7, I think it was Game 7, to the Giants, and then they came back the next year, and they won the World Series, 2015. So 2014 they lost, 2015 they won, and they did the things that they had to do to put themselves over the top. It feels like the Blue Jays are doing that. Do you feel like the Cubs are all in? So I started thinking about like where the Cubs were after 2015. First off, the energy around the team when the Cubs got Joe Madden was enormous. And then Madden gets there and he's like, I don't care how young we are. We're not losing anymore. We're not here to lose. We're going to win. And then they get John Lester to sign. And then all of a sudden, they had the prospects coming up, the Chris Bryants, the Javi Baez's. What did they do? 2015, remember, Schwartz had the big postseason, and I hope the Cubs bring him home. I just do. No secret here where I'm at on that one. So, that offseason, you're like, well, what did the Cubs do to get themselves in position to try to win the World Series? And that's when I was like, okay, I want to remember what the Cubs did. So going into that 2016 season, they go out, they signed Jason Hayward to an 8-year, $184 million contract, got him from the Cardinals. That turned out to be a dud, but at the beginning of it, and I mean, they don't win the World Series without his famous speech, right? They go out and they spend $56 million for 4 years of Ben Zobrist. Brilliant move there. This was the guy that was the World Series MVP for the Cubs. He was one of the Royals that won the World Series the year before. He was fantastic. They get John Lackey, 2 years, $32 million, another Cardinal. You're talking about a guy that kind of had like a little bit of this winner's mentality, had won a World Series in the past, was a star pitcher kind of in the twilight of his career, but knew how to get it done, laid down the, hey, we're going to do it the right way thing. Remember Dexter Fowler? It looked like he was going to go to Baltimore. Instead, he signed that 1 year, $13 million deal with the Cubs to play center field. Trevor Cahill, he was a reliever. Jason Mott, who was a reliever. Both of those guys got 1 year, $4 million plus. Outfielder Chris Denorfia, I thought he was always like a good piece. But they went out, and I mean, you talk about the pieces that they added. The Zobrist, and at the time, Hayward was a huge free agent signing. And John Lackey and Dexter Fowler, like, they went and added the things that they needed to add to win. And you could tell that they had that mentality, the momentum to be World Series champs. I don't know that they have that vibe right now. It just feels like they get outbid for the guys who could come in and make an impact. It feels like they want to kind of stay out of the deep end of the pool. And I get that. I mean, I understand. I mean, when you pay Jason Hayward that much money for that little production, you get a little bit of snake bit. But at the same time, I mean, Toronto's telling you right now, hey, we went out and signed Vlad Guerrero Jr., huge contract. He's going to be here for a long time. By the way, the guy balled out in the playoffs. Then on top of that, you swing over and you go and now add Dylan Cease to the pitching that you already had. It feels like Toronto's setting themselves up to not just contend, but to maybe win it all. And how do the Cubs get to that point? Are they there? They're not going to have Kyle Tucker back, most likely. So you're going to have to find other ways to produce. And how do you fill that void? Well, it'd be great to have Kyle Schwarber. It'd be great to have Alex Bregman. You could do that and probably still not spend as much as you'd spend on Tucker. And you get two guys that could help you. I don't know. We'll see. But I want to see this franchise do the things that it needs to do to take what they did last year. And that was Game 5 loss to Milwaukee to go to the National League Championship Series and push to win it all. Because I'm looking at Toronto, and that's exactly what they're doing. All right, some Cubs that got paid, and I love to see this, man. I love to see these guys that deserve to make some extra money, right? And the Cubs had some bonus pool earnings that have now been told to us, and you're looking at it, and you're like, okay. Pete Crow Armstrong, first full season in the big leagues, ended up with over $1 million in bonuses, $1.2 million plus in bonuses. Good for him. First Cub with 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases, 30 doubles. Sammy Sosa was the guy that we knew for the home runs and stolen bases. Pete Crow Armstrong was a speed burner, and I think that he could have really even done more damage. But he also won a Gold Glove, and he's one of the best defenders in baseball. Right? I didn't think about this. He finished 9th in MVP voting, so not too bad for a guy. And then he got rewarded. Now, Cade Horton got robbed for the Rookie of the Year. I thought he should have been Rookie of the Year. Ended up second place. Had that 2.67 ERA. Was dynamite. I mean, absolutely dynamite. With an 8-1 record and a 1.03 ERA after the All-Star break. But they kind of limited his innings. They didn't want him to get hurt. He got hurt anyway. Still a fantastic season, and someone that we're all looking at right now and going, hey, we feel like he's going to be a huge part of this team moving forward, and he got rewarded. $858,000 of a bonus rewarded, right? So his base salary was like $580,000. And then he added to that. So good for him, man. Doing it, going out there, earning it, and getting paid for it. If the Cubs would have had him in the postseason, I really do believe that they would have beat Milwaukee. I think they were one pitcher short of doing that. Michael Busch was another guy who earned a bunch of extra money. He was 16th in MVP voting and earned a bonus of $483,000 on top of his $780,000 contract. So, all of those guys, Hollywood Pete, Cade Horton, and Michael Busch paid, earned it, and really awesome to see those guys make the money. I mean, I know these guys get paid a ton, but not when you're a rookie. You get the signing bonus at the beginning, and then you got to wait until you get that first big offer, right? Or, your arbitration, depending on how you play. Well, it's Thanksgiving, and I want to say I'm thankful for all of you guys that hang out here and watch the channel. It really is great to get up and talk Cubs baseball with you guys. I try to do a show every day. It's been so much fun, though, going through it. I mean, we've done, 2 years together. I've got ideas and things I want to do on the channel moving forward. And, I've kind of had this vision, but I think the biggest thing is just the community that we've created. So thank you guys for that and for being here, and means a lot to me. Now, as far as the Cubs go, things that I'm thankful for from last year, right? First off, the way that Hollywood Pete plays, man. That guy, the fire and the passion that he brings to the team is so awesome. I mean, absolutely love it. Love that. He turned out to be better than I thought, and I thought he was going to be pretty darn good. So I'm thankful for that. I was thankful to see Kate Horton step up and be the guy that I thought he was going to be, and that is the best young pitcher that the Cubs have had since Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor. And I've been a Cubs fan a long time. You know, and we've just been dying for this. And we talked about Dylan Cease earlier on the show. You know, that trade, it was just not a good trade, and you're giving up the future. And it was like we just didn't do it this time. We stuck with the guys. We got something out of it, and I really, really liked him. The Chicago Blues, man, I've got my hat on right here. Those uniforms were sweet. I love this hat. Look, it's even like a real, it's like like a game hat. It's so cool. I'm one of these guys that loves the Cubs regular home jerseys. You know, the road ones have changed over the years. I like them, but the home ones, the pinstripes, the Cubs regular Cubs hats, best hat out there. But I do think that it's cool to do other stuff too. You know, I like the Fridays and the Wrigleyville look and the Chicago Blues and the old Cub bear with a guitar. Very cool stuff from the Cubs front office. They do a fantastic job with the marketing, and it's just super fun, right? And I think that Wrigley Field has the best giveaways in Major League Baseball. So shout out to those guys. And and that's it, man. And I'm honestly just excited about getting to the next season. So thank you for being here. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, be a part of our channel on a daily basis. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. You know, we're closing in on 2026, which is crazy to think about. But I want you to enjoy the day, and we'll talk to you guys again soon. And again, from the bottom of my heart, have a great Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.